What are some women things you think you know that other men don't? Different pads work for different flows. Just learn to communicate effectively and efficiently. Are you going to be late? Are you going out with the boys after work? Do you want to go somewhere this weekend? 0.910 times she won't care or will be on board as long as you are clear and open with communication. Don't leave her hanging. You can tell a lot about a woman by looking at her hands. For instance, if she's holding a gun, she's probably mad at you. If you make them feel safe and desired, most women will outfuck you. I know you think you have a high drive. Men want a woman that fucks a lot until they get a woman that fucks a lot. When a woman is complaining about her day, she doesn't want suggestions or advice. She wants you to listen and validate. The menstrual cycle. It's a great way to get around. The urethra and vagina are two different holes. It depends somewhat, but tampons need to be switched all 4 to 8 hours. That sometimes forts can end up in the vagina. Nothing. I like to think I know one specific woman pretty darned well, after being friends for 18 years and married for 10. That doesn't mean I know anything about the rest of them. The easiest way to know if you're ugly or attractive is to go on sites like Omegle. The people there will definitely let you know without even the need to ask them. I went on Omegle a few years ago because one of my friends never went on it as a kid, like some 13-year-olds do at sleepovers, and we saw a man getting fucked by his dog. Hasn't Omegle been shut down? I don't need to know that badly. If I already know I'm awesome. Or you'll just see a lot of penises and underage girls. Why would I go looking for answers I don't want? People rarely call someone attractive on Omegle, even if they really are attractive. I don't think I've ever gone on Omegle and don't see a dude with his dong in hand. I went in once and I constantly got old you. A girl called her friend over and was like, there's a hot guy petting a cat, and I still think about it so many years, didn't realize I could hear her. Ugly or attractive by their standards. 200 people on Omegle could say you're ugly, and then there's one person. Don't let the internet tell you if you're ugly or not. This was literally the point of now shut down. I just get called the N-word off rip. Omegle still exists. Isn't there a Reddit sub that does that? What's your secret that you won't tell anyone outside Reddit? Just about every day, when I am in the car headed to work, I genuinely contemplate just driving off and leaving everything behind. My fantasy is heading all the way to Alaska, living in a motel room, and washing dishes for work. You can't go through with it because I have people counting on. I am in therapy. I think I'm not as nice as people believe I am. I am just acting according to social norms when in reality everything outside my home makes me feel tired and drained. I think about suicide a lot. I don't have any desire to do it these days, but it's constantly in the back of my mind. I wouldn't ever admit to it offline anymore, since people have tried to get me for it, even though I've stated that I'm not actively suicidal. The last time I shat myself I was 14. And walking home from the bus. I didn't even feel it coming. It was just explosive diarrhea. To make it worse, both my parents got home early and my dad's boss was over for a visit. Nobody outside of the 4 of us knows. Nuclear scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer made the world's first apology video. An apology is not an admission of guilt. He did the right thing. He just believed that he should be loathed for having to and also being able to. And in my eyes, that makes the whole situation even more horrifying. Literally and figuratively. He had the most reason to actually make one too, compared to the bs we see these days. Nobody in the first 50 years of video ever apologized in one. Dr. J. Oppenheimer, like Dr. Albert Einstein, was a true liberal. Woke, if you will, considering the nuances of today. Liberals have a way of looking at things, and that doesn't exclude apologizing or admitting their mistakes if necessary. Liberals are also more likely to hold atheistic values in life. It's estimated us losses to invade mainland Japan would have been in excess of 1 million. More like the world's first badass apology video. I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. Holds, 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 holds. Ouroboros not being a palindrome is a massively missed opportunity. What if we got it wrong and the snake is eating its tail, but vomiting itself into existence? Petition to change it to Ouroboros. But pronounced the same. Not half as much as it is annoying that palindrome isn't itself palindromic. Not really. The snake that eats itself represents continuation of a cycle. No, it's a one-way snake. That would contradict the true meaning. It's because the phrase is actually Liverpudlian Scouse in origin. Its original usage is our Rob or Ross, usually daubed on cardboard boxes holding chronologically displaced children and left under pool tables of unsavoury pubs. But a palindrome has nothing to do with what Ouroboros represents. It shouldn't be a palindrome, it should be a repeater. Ouroboro, roboro, robo. Well, in Spanish it is Ouroboros. Maybe his name is Ouroboros Ouroboros, but he already swallowed the last half. No, it should be Orob. The concept Ouroboros isn't palindromic. Soroboros. This is what you want. Well, not really. The snake is still going round one way. Not the same at both. Ouroboros isn't the same as a palindrome anyway. It's a different meaning, so no opportunity has been missed at all. What movie is actually trash, but people just overhyped it? Most Tyler Perry movies. I don't know how he has billions with C acting. The Kissing Booth. Remember when the internet couldn't get enough of Bird Box? Yeah, that was bad. Lemon stealing whores. The composition was amateur and the plot was derivative, honestly. An older one, but I remember Crash from 2004 getting so much hype and critical acclaim when it was really quite basic. Not a movie, but The Rock Dwayne Johnson as of lately can't seem to play any other role character. Movies he stars in are predictable and not diverse. Overhyped actor Adam and Hobbs. Couldn't tell the difference immediately. Your favorite one? Maybe not exactly trash, but most Marvel movies are way overhyped. American Sniper. Watched it recently. It's a mess. Not trash, but Black Panther was a pretty paint-by-numbers superhero movie. Fun to watch, nothing special. Fast and the Furious franchise. The first one was good, but they've become more and more ridiculous over time. I mean, they strapped a rocket to a car and went to space. Talk about cheesy. Any Tyler Perry movie. Avatar. Someday I may create a CAPTCHA to keep humans out. It's already been done. Try posting on Chan. It's impossible for humans now. What does this code say? Move cursor from pixel 14,056 to pixel 653,134 and hold it for 0.35 seconds. Then move cursor to 22. Eventually, someone is going to figure out how to crack it. That's easy. Click these 20 squares in order within ERMS. CAPTCHAs don't actually measure what you are clicking on, but rather how you are clicking. They track mouse movement and input delay because that's much harder to mimic by a computer. Then humans will create eyes to solve those CAPTCHAs for them. I cannot really beat us at our own game. Which would be incredibly. They have to do is give you an extremely brief amount of time to respond to literally any. It brief enough and it becomes humanly impossible to complete. Here is the proof. It would just be a basic or intermediate math. I like the thought flow. It would be just like the code to unlock access to the system in Summer Wars. Yeah, it's called Tarkov's fucking flea market-ist. Reaction time test terms. It's called complex math equations. Click all the boxes with the correct number of fingers. What stopped you from killing yourself? I didn't want to inconvenience people with my death. I was talking to a crow. I told it to call once for yes or twice for no. Asked it if it understood. They said yes. Asked if I should jump, no. Usually it is because I know my mom couldn't survive it, and I don't want to put my family through something like that twice. Once, though, that wasn't enough. My sister-in-law sent me a funny picture of their kid. That's when I realized they would have to explain to a 7-year-old what happened. To this day, 5 years later, she has no idea she saved my life. My dog walked and saw me crying and licked my face. I have a mentally ill kid. It's the ripple effect that keeps me here. My card declined at checkout when buying supplies. The thought of my parents getting a phone call saying that their only kid took his own life, the thought of that just gives me chills. The last time, my dog. I had no idea what would happen to her, and I couldn't bring myself to take her with me. What small victory made your day recently? I hit a axe body weight deadlift raw, beltless and strapless. I'll admit it was an ego lift, but I didn't compromise form. Made out with some chick at a bar. Sometimes it helps to know you've still got it. I got a new job after September 29th, 2023 of being unemployed. That alone takes such a big weight off of my shoulders. It just feels awesome. I got a 1970 Chevrolet running after sitting for 14 years in a tobacco barn. Recently, I finally cracked the code to making vegetables magically appealing to my daughter. Seeing her munch on them without the usual negotiations felt like winning an epic silent battle. It was a small, yet monumental victory in the dad playbook. Replacing the pressure temperature relief valve on my water heater. It has been slowly dripping for months into a bucket I would empty, and I just hadn't got around to replacing it. Took about an hour to replace and get the heater back full and pilot lit. Don't have to worry about going away for a few days without the bucket overflowing. My 5-year-old has been sick and had sinus headaches. As a parent, this may be the worst thing to experience. Your child being today, his head wasn't hurting. What unexpected hobby or activity has significantly improved your mental health or perspective on life? Woodworking has been huge for my mental health, almost as good as therapy. Taking care of the cats first thing in the morning, having some tea or coffee after washing hands from one, volunteering at an animal shelter. Those wagging tails are instant mood boosters. Marijuana. I drink less. Ballroom dancing has done more for me than therapy, though both together has been optimal. Cycling, Lego collecting, running outdoors. It's peaceful and gives me an hour a day to be alone with some music. I was dealing with some depression and anxiety about a year ago, and that was the only thing that seemed to help. I will say the first month I was in a lot of pain and hated it, but after my body adjusted, I have no problems. Running, especially when you get the runner's high after a third mile. And the post-run nut is out of this world. Growing plants in small pots in my house and taking care of them. Cycling, it makes everything feel better. The obvious one is going to the gym. But working with leather has given me a sense that I'm developing a skill I can use the rest of my life